Welcome to Meet the Candidate. I'm Chris Clark, President and CEO of the Queen Creek Chamber of Commerce. Today we're joined by Alan Smith, candidate for LD15 State Senate.
That's correct. That's right.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining us today, Alan. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first, Chris, thanks for having me here. Really appreciate it very much. I've lived in Arizona now for 7 years, so I'm not a lifetime Arizonan, but I've lived in a lot of different states, a lot of different locales, and so I bring a different perspective in that regards too. Having lived in Colorado, originally from Iowa, I lived in Salt Lake City, Utah, lived in Northern California, and Hawaii, and now we're here. We're retired here, actually.
You're retired. What did you retire from?
I was in the insurance industry. I worked 38 years as an insurance premium auditor and got to audit all kinds of different businesses, thousands of businesses across the western United States.
Wow. Sounds very detailed.
It was.
So you've gotten to know a lot about different types of businesses.
Different types of businesses. I could feel the economic cycles coming and going as business picked up and dropped off. And then just build a ton of spreadsheets and working with financial statements.
So Legislative District 15, it's fairly large, parts of Mesa, Queen Creek, Santan Valley. Mm-hmm. Which community are you in?
I'm in Mesa.
Okay.
So I'm up at Ellsworth and Guadalupe area, so northern part of the territory.
And how long have you lived in the district?
I lived here 7 years.
So you came straight to here?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Great. And after 7 years, you decided you wanted to run for the State House?
Yes, I did. I see Arizona has so much work to do with so many issues, and I don't feel that our current legislature is dealing with some of those issues.
Have you been involved in politics in the past?
Just peripheral. I've had friends that ran for state office that I've campaigned for. I've campaigned for other Democrats that have run here. Mark Kelly, for instance, the last 2 cycles for him. Kyrsten Sinema as well.
So you've worked on the campaigns, and you have extensive volunteer work?
I've done a lot of different volunteer work. Yes, I was a Boy Scout Scoutmaster. Right after I moved here, I got some honey-do list things done here, and I went to work at the I volunteered 1 day a week at the closest Mesa Public Schools. Just as an aide, just volunteered 1 day a week in a second grade classroom. I've also been a JC, which was formerly known as the Junior Chamber of Commerce, and that was back in Iowa when I was post-college there, which is a volunteer organization supporting the community. I've coached youth baseball and basketball, and so yes, I've volunteered a little bit around the community.
Very good. So you mentioned you felt like there were things that needed to be done in the district. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those? Okay. What are your first priorities, and what do you think need to be done differently?
Okay, well, my first priority is women and their reproductive rights. We need to make that law here in Arizona. We took a step the other day repealing the 1864 law. But we need to go further. As I don't know if you've seen in the media, I'm sure you have, there's been so many issues that have come up from emergency rooms, from OBGYNs, how to deal with that issue. And it sounds like a nice, simple, easy rule, but it is very complicated, and it is endangering women in this state. And in this country. Another issue is water conservation and water planning. We can do better with that. I know Queen Creek, for instance, I think you're short here on your 100-year water supply, but you're working on it. I know you're doing some recharging and doing some things with the effluent, and that's fantastic. We need to expand that.
Yeah, we have about 3% of the planned area that doesn't have its 100 years, so
okay.
We're about 97% of the way there, and we have a small amount, yes. And water is very important to economic development. Mm-hmm. What do you see as being the primary elements, and what needs to be done?
Well, we need to Well, first, I think we need to set up area management. Let's see, what is it? Area Management Administration. I'm not sure what it is. AMA, and they come in and they measure how much like groundwater there is, for instance, and then they make sure that we're not depleting the water that will take away our future here in Arizona if we deplete it, too much, or when it's gone, it's gone. It's a finite resource.
Good. Do you think we've reached a point now where there needs to be restrictions, or you just want to see more studies done?
Well, like I said, set up these AMA areas, and then we'll have the research in place. We've got those in some areas here in Arizona, but not all of them. Most of our water goes to the agricultural businesses, farming and ranching, and we can do. We can help our farmers and ranchers with using more efficient watering methods, irrigation methods, and the state can assist them make a transition to that, to different crops if that's what makes sense. They can. There's several things that we can do. Like the recharge is another great one that we're doing with the effluent, and that will certainly help us.
And aside from water, what would be next?
Well, I'm concerned about our democracy. I really am. The fact that Republicans are not trusting the elections is what I'm seeing. That they are, if they win, great, and if they lose, we were cheated. And our voting system is run by some great administrators at the Secretary of State, their staff, volunteers that come in and help out on election day. It's run by citizens that are doing the best they can and following the rules. They're 2 and 3 deep on all the transfers of votes and vote boxes, ballot boxes, and they're doing the best they can. And I believe how our ballots come out. I mean, when I win, I'll take it, of course. But if I lose, I will also lose graciously. And I will abide by the outcome. I'm concerned my opponent may not.
And specifically, you're running for Senate in LD 15, and so your opponent in that race, you're unopposed in the primary.
That's correct. That's correct.
So you'll be running as a Democrat against whoever is the Republican nominee. Currently, the seat is held by Senator Hoffman.
Okay, and I'm not aware that he has any
primary
opposition.
challengers.
Yeah.
I don't think so as of right now. So you'll be running against Senator Hoffman, who's two-term, and you want to make these changes here.
Yes, absolutely, I do. I don't think he represents Arizona and Arizona priorities. I think we've got many things to be working on here, and I don't think Mr. Hoffman is working on the Arizona issues that we need to be paying attention to.
On your website, is that still the best way to get information about you?
Website is probably the best, and that is www.allensmith4Arizona, all spelled out, and that's www.allensmith4Arizona.com.
And there you have your full platform spelled out. You talk a lot about schools there as well.
I do. I am totally against the voucher program that I feel is bankrupting our state, taking money out of our public schools, which are already poorly financed, and it's subsidizing those that already have their students in private schools, discriminatory private schools, and we need to stop that. I mean, we're already 49th in funding our public school, and now so far, year to date, I believe we pulled out $700 million that's coming out of public schools and going to private schools. Again, discriminatory discriminatory private schools. And we got to stop that. Our state came into this year with a $2 billion budget surplus, and we're going to leave this year with no surplus.
And do you believe that's entirely due to the ESA program, or?
It's a chunk of it. The other part is the flat tax that Ducey left with us, the legislature in Ducey left with us when he departed. That flat tax was kind of pushed through in the last week or two of the legislative session without a lot of discussion, and it's no longer a graduated tax system. Now it's just a flat tax, which is a regressive tax on the middle class workers.
And that's lowering the state income tax to the 2.5%.
Correct.
Across the board.
Across the board, that's right.
So something that you would want to work on changing?
Absolutely. Yes, we need, and part of that is also the reliance on sales tax here in Arizona, which go up and down, as we saw in the recession in 2007 and 2008 and 9 and well into 10. Sales tax dropped dramatically, and if you're using that to finance your public schools or a lot of your activities in your general budget, you're going to see the revenues go down dramatically as well in tax revenues, and property taxes would give us a stronger base, a solid base.
Anything that we haven't covered that you want to touch on?
Boy, I can't think of anything right now, but I'm just glad to be here, Chris. I really thank you for inviting me, and I want to come in here, make a difference. I want to serve 2 terms. I'd like to win this year, and then a cycle from now. Old Boy Scout motto is no trace camping, and I want to I find Arizona is in rough shape right now, and I want to leave it after 2 elections, after serving 2 terms, as leave it much better than I found it.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Mr. Smith, and good luck in the general elections in November.
Thank you very much.